Welcome to Black People Love Paramore, a show not about the band Paramore, but about the common and uncommon interests of Black people in order to help the community feel more seen. Quick note, remember when I told y'all that if I got to a certain number of members supporting the show on MaximumFun.org that I would rap for y'all? Well, y'all got me there, and I did in fact write and record a rap for y'all. You can listen to it if you sign up to support this podcast at MaximumFun.org/join. Please take a second also to write us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Hit us with those 5 stars because we are 5-star bitches, Wortio Gotti. I'm your host, Sequoia, and today joining me to talk about cults, we have writer, deep reader, and host of the literary podcast, The Stacks, Traci Thomas. I hope you enjoy the episode. Okay, what is a cult? What makes a cult? So we have 3 definitions here.
Okay.
The first definition is a system of religious veneration and devotion directed toward a particular figure or object. Definition 2 is a relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange or sinister.
Okay.
And definition 3, a misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing.
Okay.
As the cult expert here, Traci.
Oh my God, I love my title.
I love that you love it.
I'm so excited.
Does that track? Is there something you would like to add, or does that pretty much cover it?
I feel like definition 2 speaks the most to my feelings about cults.
Okay.
I would say. But yeah, that covers it. It's like deep religion to like obsession with things in a weird way, right?
Right.
Anything in between.
100%. And that's the things that makes cults difficult to really pin down. As I was researching for this episode and looking through a number of notable cults, all of them are like, it's been called a cult. Yeah. No real thing says this is a cult. It's just like, oh, it's been referred to as a, some people think it's a cult.
I feel like there isn't a consensus on what a cult is because some things are like cult-y or cult-like.
Yep.
You know, like Soul Cycle. It's like, it's culty.
You know what I mean? Let's just go here. Since we're here, let's just go here. I have a game here for us.
Okay.
Is it a cult? So we just got the definition of cults, right?
Okay.
I have a few pop culture topics here, and we're going to say whether or not they're a cult. If there's
I'm just going to say in advance.
Yes.
I feel that I'm going to say everything's a cult.
Everything is a cult. That's super fair.
My predisposition is like, yeah, it's probably a cult.
That's cool.
So I just want to put my biases out there, but I will try to play in good faith.
First, you mentioned Soul Cycle. I have Solid Core. Have you heard of Solid Core?
I have heard of it, but I've never done it.
Okay, so Solid Core is... A lot of people say it's not Pilates, but to me, it is a variation of Pilates. Okay. What makes it culty, in my opinion, and again, this is not to sway you, just to give a little bit of context. They had this promotion where if you showed your Solid Core tattoo, you got a certain, Traci's face is saying you got a certain discount for like a month or something. And they laid out the 3 tattoos that you were allowed to have to prove that they were Solid Core tattoos. Like you couldn't just have any Solid Core tattoo. It had to be one of 3, it had to be their logo without Solid Core in the middle, their logo with Solid Core in the middle, or some other third option.
That's cult? A fucking cult.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. It was giving culty to me.
That feels like easy to define to me. I thought it was going to be slightly harder, like people who drink Diet Coke. And I was going to be like, well, you know, kind of. We are kind of a cult. But people who get a tattoo for their Pilates studio, for sure. If you have a Solid Core tattoo, period. Even if you, because like, I'm assuming you had to have the tattoo before the promotion, or do you think people went out and got it? But honestly, either way. People
went out and got it for the promotion. It was definitely like a promotional tactic that they were running. They were like, if you go get the Solid Core tattoo, you get money off.
Did anybody from your studio do it? Like, did you go to class one day and see someone with the plastic like on their arm or whatever?
I truly do not go to Solid Core enough to know, but I didn't see anybody. I've never seen anybody with the Solid Core tattoo. That'd be nuts.
And also only for a discount for a month. Like,
it was like really short too. It was not like a lifetime.
That's how much a tattoo costs.
Right? No, it was kind of nuts. So, okay, we're aligned there.
Okay, aligned.
Astrology.
Ooh. Okay, yes. I think like if you like read your horoscope in like Cosmo, no. I think people who like don't do things because Saturn or whatever, you are getting there.
Yeah.
I think like a general interest of like, oh, like I'm a Leo. that's why I have a bad attitude. Like, I'm okay with that. But if it's like, I'm a Leo, that's why I can't go to the movies with you today. Or like, that's why I can only go to the movies with you today. To me, that is sort of where we get into cult territory. So you could just be a person who's like slightly interested. Like, I have that book, Sextrology. I've looked at it. I don't know that makes me like I'm in a cult. Now, if I wouldn't have sex with you because of the book, culty.
There's that. Okay. I'm glad that you cleared that up. Okay. Because I am a little bit of an astro girl. Okay. But I feel like a bad astro girl in that if it says something I don't like, I'm just going to ignore it. You know, like if it's like, today is Mercury retrograde and therefore you should not do X, Y, and Z. And I already had X, Y, and Z planned.
It's on the calendar.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's happening.
I'll live with the consequences.
I'm just going to have to take my chances, live with the consequences of it. So good. Okay. We're aligned there as well. The Secret, the manifestation thing. Are you familiar with The Secret?
Yeah, I remember that book. Yeah. It was like a book. It was like around the same time as the Four Agreements.
Yes, exactly.
No, I mean, I think if you really believe that, yes, it is a cult, I guess. But also, like, I hate it for you. Yeah. And I do believe in manifesting things. I have twins, and I'm convinced I manifested twins.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God, wait, that's really cool.
But I didn't do The Secret. I just was like, I only want to get pregnant once, but I want to have kids who have siblings.
Naturally.
And here we are.
And here you are. Wait, I actually want to circle back with that after we wrap the phone call.
Okay.
I have similar desires. Okay.
The Secret, yeah, probably a cult. The reason that I'm not sure that The Secret is a cult is because I think The Secret is just bad popular science.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yes. I don't think Malcolm Gladwell is a cult leader, but I think he writes bad popular, like, pop science.
Okay. So there is really like what is the difference between bad pop science and cultish?
like I don't know that there's like a belief system behind maybe The Secret a little bit, but like I would just say that if you believe in The Secret fully, maybe you're just not that smart. I don't know that you're in a cult.
Tracy said that's a personal problem. I don't know that we can extrapolate.
I don't want to put that on those people.
Yeah, I don't want to put that on cults. Yeah. No, that's fair. I see how you're around there. I totally get that. Swifties.
For sure.
Okay. Wow. Cut and dry. Easy one.
And my enemies.
And also my enemies as well.
My enemies.
Yeah, we're here. So, okay. So we're aligned. Friends. We are friends. Yes. That is who we are. Beehive.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But not my enemies.
Mm-hmm. Insane.
I'm not in the Beehive, but if you are, please, you're invited to the house. Let's talk about it. Wow. I have criticism of Beyonce, but like one of my hottest takes in the history of the internet is that a thing that I hate about Taylor Swift, because I was a dancer, is that people say she can dance, and we know that she can't. But she also got on stage in that tour in a flat boot.
Oh, God, no, she didn't, Tracy.
And wore a little mini dress that was like all sequiny and looked like she was trying to be Tina Turner. And I'm like, that is disrespectful to pretend to be a dancer, to dress up and cosplay as a Black woman who can dance, and to do it in a flat boot. Ooh. It is offensive. And if you believe that she is a good dancer, you are in a cult, period.
No, you're literally in a cult and delusional, because I've never even heard anybody say that she was a good dancer. Oh my God. That's nuts.
People talk about how, oh my God, she's so talented. She's such a good dancer, and she can sing, and she writes her own. I'm like, have you guys ever seen dancing?
Like, ever? Have you ever laid eyes on somebody who actually who dances at all? Have you ever laid eyes on me? I don't dance.
Well, like, and I bet you do
better than her. Right, I'm sure.
But okay, the other reason I think Swifties are in a cult is because I think that Taylor Swift is the cult of the mediocre white woman.
Oh, me too. Yes.
And so I think that there's like something that people see in her that validates their own, like, they can sing along with all the lyrics. Like, Beyonce is hitting notes that I cannot hit. I 100%. Will not try. I will just kind of like be like, love on top. Do, love on top. Baby, it's you. But I'm never going for love on top. Mm-hmm. They'll be singing this Taylor Swift and like blowing their hair in the wind. And I'm just like, yeah, your hair is not shiny like Taylor Swift's hair. And like, you can't dance like Taylor Swift. And like, the vocals are me. Like, she allows people to believe in a version of themselves that I cannot believe in, so it must be a cult.
No, that is so my exact take on it. I feel like she allows white mediocrity to reign supreme still. They keep her on top, they, meaning Swifties, keep her on top because it allows them to feel like they can also be great because they're mediocre, just like she's mediocre.
Yes. Like,
you can allow...
Is that really your queen?
Can't be. I refuse to believe it.
I feel like Angelina Jolie is like so much better.
She's right there. Yeah, like you have so many other options.
Can't dance, but like she has a vocal.
I'll even give you a Sabrina Carpenter who's on tour with Taylor Swift right now. Yes. I can understand that better.
There's just so many other white women who are talented in a real way. And I understand like Taylor Swift is good at branding herself, I guess. But I genuinely think that it's the fans who have allowed her to become so popular because they see themselves and their mediocrity in her.
100%. It's not her. It's definitely the fans. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Okay. Disney.
Oh, Disney adults?
Disney adults.
Cult.
Yep. Cult.
Terrifying.
Yep.
That's the scariest one you've said by far. Talk about tattoos.
Oh, they do have a lot of tattoos.
Imagine getting like a Gaston tattoo,
like just like, something so niche. I don't even want to say it's niche because it's Disney, so it can't be that niche, but you know what I mean.
But like at 35,
I mean
at 45,
it couldn't be me personally, but you know, okay, hey, you do you like it.
Cult.
I love it.
If you like it, you're in a cult, and I love it. If you like it,
you are in a cult, and if you want to be in a cult, I love that for you. Multi-level marketing schemes.
Yes. That's like proven cult.
Those are like obviously cults, right?
Yes. Okay, I know a woman who's like high up in one.
Yes.
High. She's got the car, the Mercedes, the whole thing. And I can't turn away from her Instagram.
Oh, it's so like good. A train wreck, right? You're like, wow, like what the fuck is going on here? Yes. I've like known people who have gotten sucked into MLMs by accident. And it's just the most devastating thing to watch because you know on the outside, like this is
bad,
at least illegal, but it's giving cult. It's giving true crime as well.
It's true crime. Yeah. Also, like my brother and my best friend and my sister-in-law, we have a dream of starting our own MLM, but we can never think of what the product should be. We're like candles, tea, like business courses.
You gotta hide behind books, Tracy. You're already there. You already built it. You gotta hide behind books.
How can I MLM a book? Like just like buy these books and then like sell them to your friend? Like that's already...
Damn. No. I know what it is. You create a self-help pamphlet about how reading will change your life.
Okay.
And you will be a better person just if you can get your vocabulary up, you can get your understanding of other people's experiences, whatever you get.
So it's just like a course.
It's just like a course, but it's a pamphlet and it promises you salvation to some degree.
Now we're getting close to Scientology.
Exactly.
Now we're really getting culty.
Now we're getting culty, right?
Yes. Wait, and I get to be the leader?
Yes.
Because this... Sign up now. Go to readingchangeslives.org/Tracy is your cult leader. Welcome.
/Tracy is your cult leader. Yes, absolutely.
And it's you only have to spend $5,000 to buy in to get the first 2.5 courses.
Like, what's $5,000 for the rest of your life to be saved?
Yeah.
I think we just did it. That's coming soon. Keep an eye out.
Coming soon to a cult near you.
Absolutely.
I mean, to an Instagram live near you.
Yeah, no, not a cult. The cult. Who said cult? I would never say.
It's not even illegal.
Not even illegal at all.
Business to business.
Okay, I have 3 more for you.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
MAGA.
Oh, for sure.
Cult. Easy, right?
Yeah. If you like are true MAGA, for sure.
Absolutely.
There are some lost Republicans. There are some terrible people, but then there are some racist MAGA cults. And like Trump fits all the cult leader bits.
He does.
The language he uses, the calls to action, the whole thing. I mean, textbook to me.
I agree. Wait, there was something else I was going to say about cults there, about Trump and MAGA. I don't remember. Moving on. I'll come back to it. Fame.
Ooh.
A little bit more esoteric there.
Yeah, no. I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like fame has like an ideology or a clear like set of expectations. Like there's a lot of ways to be famous. There's a lot of kinds of fame you might want. I think that it is cult-like in the sense that it makes people feel important or connected maybe. But I would say no.
Okay.
Fame, no.
Okay. I like that answer. It has clear parameters for like what gives more culty and what is just bad. I feel like sometimes we can conflate those two things, or what can be be bad. Fame can be good. It can be bad too.
For sure.
I don't think there are cults that
Ever
are
heard of him?
very much. God, I'll tell you about my Kanye experiences after this.
After we talk about twins, offline.
Absolutely. After we get to twins, we'll get to Kanye as well.
Okay.
And the last one, the United States of America.
Okay. Is that the United States of America TM? Or actually the country, like trademark, like the United States of America, red, white, and blue, branded, stars.
Yes. The United States of America.
The American dream is a cult.
Yes.
The land on which we live is stolen land. I don't know that it is a cult, but like the idea of America, the performance of America, 4th of July as our big, holiday, the American dream, like meritocracy, all of that. 1,000%. And here's the sad part. Sometimes I find myself in the cult of the United States.
No,
like
don't
sometimes
we all?
on 4th of July when I'm eating a hot dog and drinking a Diet Coke and like surrounded by friends and like blasting Not Like Us, I'm like, is this not what everyone died for? This
100%.
moment?
100%. Now, Tracy, that's the second time you've mentioned a Diet Coke. We might have to talk about
I love a Diet Coke.
Okay. We might have to talk about the cult of Diet Coke. We might have to get into
I'm in.
Yeah. That's your cult.
I'm in.
Okay.
Can't have it. That's one of many. You're going to find out a lot about me today.
Okay. So we might as well go there then.
Okay.
If there was something that turned into a cult, what would get you? It's Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. I mean, I think that I'm not super susceptible to cults. Mm-hmm. Generally, things that have leaders, I will find the joke in the person before I'll really buy into the person. Yes. However, there have been cults that I have read about and like seen that I'm like, I could have been there. So like the one that I always tell people that I could have been in, and this is like a real one and very sad, is Jonestown.
Okay.
That's the one that I'm like, it started in Indianapolis, Jim Jones, and the whole premise was like racial equality in the 60s and 70s. They were politically active. They are one of the reasons that Harvey Milk was elected in San Francisco. They did like canvassing. They were knocking doors. It was a lot of like older grandmothers and Black people, a ton of Black people, a lot of grandmothers who were giving over their social security checks. And they got to live together, and Jim Jones was helping provide like a space for their grandkids who maybe like their own kids weren't around for whatever reason, and it was like this communal space, racial equality, all of this stuff. And then Jim Jones goes full drug addict / power abuser. Yeah, but he's like preaching this utopia for Black Americans and equality in this time that I'm like, for sure, I could have been there.
At the time, yep.
At the time, even now, I could get on board with the right equality for all, right? Like I could be
totally
there.
feel that. Yep.
And so that's one that I think that I would definitely be susceptible to in a real way. He gets paranoid towards the end. Obviously, things go extremely, extremely bad. And he murders almost 1,000 people in Guyana. If you've heard the term drink the Kool-Aid, right?
Drink
this
the
is
Kool-Aid,
Jonestown. Even though it was technically Flavor Aid for people who want a factual analysis. It was like an off-brand beverage, Flavor Aid. Great Flavor Aid. Yeah.
Okay, wait. Wow, this is all very interesting. Now I'm wondering if they called it Kool-Aid because it was Black people and they were trying to be funny.
I think that it's just that Kool-Aid was like the name brand. Okay. So it would be like a Band-Aid, but you're not going to be like Bandage A, like it's just like we all know, like it's a Xerox machine, the cult of Xerox, the cult of Kool-Aid. But it was Flavor Aid.
Okay.
But yeah, so like that's like a real one that I could see myself having been a part of if it had been around in my lifetime. It got big in the Bay Area. And so a connection to the Harvey Milk story is that the day or that weekend that everything happened in Guyana, because there was also an assassination of a congressman, and like they sent all these people down to check on the families, because Sorry, I should backtrack. So what happens is Jim Jones gets paranoid that the government's going to come because he's been fucking off people with their social security checks. He's not letting people out. They don't have money. People who want to leave can't leave. A few people defect. He starts to panic. There starts to be an investigation. He's like, fuck it. We're all going to this paradise called Jonestown in Guyana in South America. They've already started building it, but then he like sends everybody. There's like over 1,000 people there, children, grandparents, everybody, his whole family, everybody. Some people who defected were like, you know what? We're going to write to our congressperson. And I cannot remember his name. It's like Leo something. Congressman Leo something. I'm sorry. I wish I wrote it down. And he goes with a camera crew from NBC. His assistant is Jackie Spear, who's now a congresswoman who holds his seat since his assassination.
Oh my God.
I'm sure many of you have seen her and not even known the connection. But anyways,
Absolutely.
So they go down there. Everything's good. Everyone's leaving. They're like, it seems fine. People are allowed to leave. A few of the People's Temple members go with the congressman. They get on the tarmac. They get on the airplane. Jim Jones snaps, is like, fuck it, go kill those people. He sends like 2 trucks of his people behind the congressman to the airport. There's a shootout on the tarmac. A bunch of people are killed. Jackie Spear is shot but not killed. The congressman is killed. I think a cameraman from NBC. Anyways, then he's like, oh shit, what did I do? Code White. I can't remember the name. There's a name for it. That's when they start forcing everyone to drink the Kool-Aid. And it wasn't like, oh, drink this Kool-Aid. It was literally him injecting it into people's mouths who wouldn't take it. So like this was a true mass murder.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And this weekend happens a few days before or a few days after the assassination of Harvey Milk. And because of the connection, at first when all of this happened, people thought those 2 events were connected. And there was like this whole thing before they realized that it was Dan White, they thought that perhaps it was connected to like People's Temple people, which is so crazy because those are 2 historic events that happened like days apart that we don't think of as the same, but they were like these huge San Francisco Bay Area events.
Oh my
Crazy,
God.
right?
The way that I knew nothing about Jonestown, I legitimately had an entirely different story.
Oh my gosh. No. You have to read this book. It's called
nuts.
1,000 Lives by Julia Shears. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It is a fantastic telling of the story. And what she does so beautifully is that she really makes you understand why someone would join this group. And she talks about how like people don't willingly join a cult. No one's like, I'm going to go join this cult. They're like, I believe in this thing. This person inspired me. My friends are there. There's a community. And the author just really sets the scene for the whole story and makes you understand like what kind of tragedy we're even talking about. And it's just, it's incredible.
That actually is incredible. I will read that. That's something else that I will probably ask you for the information on.
Yes.
After this. That's nuts. Okay, because in researching for this episode, obviously I got to Jonestown. I was trying to figure out cults with pop cultural references tied to them, and then we have the rapper Jim Jones. I'm assuming he took the name. I really don't know. His name is not Jim. His first name is it's not Jim. I don't remember what his first name is, but his last name is Jones. But it seems like he took that as a connection. And I know that that's the thing that other musicians have done. Obviously, Marilyn Manson took his last name Manson from Charles Manson. But in researching Jonestown, it was just fed to me briefly by Google and Wikipedia as just like, oh, a commune in Guyana, and there was a mass suicide at the end where everyone drank the Kool-Aid and they all died together. What you said is
crazy,
entirely fucking different than the way that it's painted in pop culture.
Oh yeah. It's one of the reasons that I actually won't use the phrase drink the Kool-Aid in real life. Like I find it to be, the more I learned about that story, the more offensive I find it to be. Like I'm just like, so many people died. Yeah. And you can actually hear the last few nights before the murders, Jim Jones does these like all night, I think he calls them white nights, these all night preaching sessions, like hours and hours. Everyone has to sit and listen to him preach, and there's tapes of them, and it is terrifying. Like you are hearing a person who is so paranoid and so high and so drunk on his own power and belief in himself that it is like, it's so terrifying. And then there's one woman, a Black woman in one of the last tapes who stands up and like speaks out against him. And it is like, it is so crushing. It's just such an incredible, horrifying story.
Mm-hmm. You know, I might have to go listen to this on audiobook today. I might not even have time to wait to.
Yeah,
to
you might have to.
Might
it's a
have
great
to
book.
go see about that. Yeah, sounds absolutely fantastic. Okay, if there were some things that I feel like could be cults that could have gotten me if they were cults. You know, earlier we were talking about Disney. I am not a Disney adult.
Oh,
I want to put that out. I'm not a Disney adult at all. Okay.
Okay.
In fact,
I gotta go.
Yeah, sure you're not. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I was very much a Disney Channel child.
Okay.
Which I feel like is distinct
Different.
from Disney children.
Yeah.
So like that's what Raven Simone means so fucking much to me. And I know that I'm susceptible to this type of thing because of how much Raven means to me.
Okay.
After, you know, public mishaps and ups and downs and whatever, I'm like, you'll have to pry her out of my cold dead heads. Yeah. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
So Raven.
It's still that so Raven till I die. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Disney Channel in the early 2000s would probably be something that could get me.
Okay.
From the Lizzie McGuires to the Sisters to all the Proud Families. It was a black ass time in Disney Channel in the early 2000s.
It was.
Okay. They were catering to me and they got my little black ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take that.
Yes. And then if there's another one, unfortunately, I would probably fall victim to the cult of TikTok. And I'm not sure that it's not a cult right now.
Okay.
So
yeah, you must be slightly younger than me. I want to like TikTok, but I don't dislike it. I don't know. I never quite got my algorithm right. And
that's fair. It does take a second to get the algorithm right.
I just like when people send them to me and then I can just go look.
Yeah.
And then I leave.
Yeah.
But like I laugh at a lot of them. Like I like it. I haven't quite like nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, those would be the two that would get me.
Okay.
That's it. Is there anything else that
you
Diet Coke? We have Diet Coke.
I just
we have
love
Jonestown.
Diet Coke.
Those are so different.
I just feel like Diet Coke doesn't have a personality though. Like I just think this is a thing I like to drink. Mm-hmm. I don't know that it's like there's no hierarchy, no leadership. It's just like a brand.
I don't know because there's Coke Zero people who are like, no, there is a hierarchy like Coke Zero, Diet Coke, regular Coke, whatever.
I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think what else I would like. What else I'm like so deeply in on. Well, okay, I am a huge sports fan.
Okay.
So and that is sort of cult like being a big fan of a team.
Yes.
But I'm never going like even to like the parade. So like I don't know that I'm in the cult, but I will have strong opinions about like my team's players and like the athletes that I like, and I will argue with strangers about it.
Ooh.
And like I will be weird in a bar if someone's like cheering too loud for the other team, then I'll start cheering really loud for my team. Like I am confrontational and am like loyal as fuck when it comes to my teams. But again, I don't like to wear the jerseys. Like I'm not like
Tracy, please.
So it's sort of like I could maybe for the right team in the right moment I could get there, but I do have a predisposed love of sports and competition.
Okay, wait. I'm interested what your teams are now. What's
so
your
I'm
teams?
from the Bay Area.
Okay.
So I'm a 49ers fan. I'm a San Francisco Giants fan. I like Premier League soccer. I am a Manchester City fan.
Okay.
Speaking of the cult of America, for any international competition, I will get weird for America.
Oh, and very much that.
And the Olympics are coming.
Oh, the
and
Olympics?
I'll be up at 4 a.m. screaming about the captain of the crew team and the coxswain or whatever the fuck. Like I know all the nicknames. Wow. I'll be madly obsessed and in love. Obviously, like gymnastics, track, but I'll get weird. Archery, if we have a good archer, don't start me.
Oh,
okay?
yeah.
I will be there.
Red, white, and blue, baby.
Yes.
I believe this shit.
Yes, I will go all. I have one American flag scarf that comes out every 4 years, and I like wave it around in my house.
I actually love it. I love it. Okay, are you a Warriors girly?
Yes, Warriors for
and
sure.
of course the Warriors as well.
Warriors for sure.
Okay.
Warriors
I went to school at UC Santa Cruz, and that was the only time I've defected from the Lakers at all. And that was only because it was during very formative time. The Lakers weren't winning at that time and the Warriors were. And it was a thing.
Okay. Got it. It's okay. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. My boyfriend doesn't quite understand when I tell him. He's like, don't ever say that shit out loud again.
Well,
but I do. And
just tell him there's a spoiler in the middle of this episode.
Right. Just skip past. Don't. Yeah. I'll give him the time codes. He doesn't need to know what happens. Do you have any favorite cult stories? Is it Jonestown?
Jonestown is probably like the one that makes me the most like devastated.
Yeah.
I have gone extremely deep on WACO. I'm fascinated by WACO. The Branch Davidians. Last year was the 30th anniversary of the whole situation. The what do you call it? Standoff, and then the fire and everything. And 3 nonfiction books came out last year about WACO, and I read all 3 and then interviewed all 3 authors and put it together into a 90-minute episode of the podcast.
Oh my gosh.
I do love WACO.
Can you tell us what are the give us a
what's the story
overview of WACO?
Yeah. And so WACO also has an interesting connection to other things. WACO is like, if you are an alt-right MAGA person, WACO is pretty much the origin story of this kind of human.
Okay.
So, and it starts actually, so there's a group called the Branch Davidians. They're a Christian religion, but their Christianity is like based sort of on like a really strict version of Christianity that's similar to Judaism. So like their Sabbath is on Saturday. Like there's a lot of tie-ins, extremely textual kind of Christianity. Cannot relate. Does not compute. But if you want to know about it, you can read one of those books. They'll tell you all about the Christian part. They have a few different leaders. And then this guy comes in, David Koresh. He sort of joins the group, and he ends up fucking the woman who is like in charge of the group, whose husband dies, and like becomes the leader, even though he's much younger.
Oh, wow.
And he takes over the group. And they live on this compound called Mount Carmel or Mount Carmel. There's different people say it different. It's in Waco, Texas. They build this sort of like shoddy little, it's not, it's shoddy because the materials are shoddy, but it's like a big compound. They do their practicing of religion there, and then they do like these odd jobs to make money. And one of the things they do is they start selling guns at like gun shows. And they start selling like illegal guns, like sawed-off shotguns or like semi-automatics that they've made automatic. And this is in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. In 1992, there's also kids. There's kids here. They're doing the Jesus shit. But they get kind of flagged by the government as like selling guns, not the right ones, feels weird. Yeah. And there's also some complaints about child abuse because at these places, those kids are never safe, okay? The kids are getting touched. They are getting abused in all sorts of ways. Yeah. They are not going to school. There is no oversight. So they call in the authorities to look at the kids. The kids are like, no, we're fine. Jesus, David Koresh, like, we're good. The authorities leave, more gun stuff. They're like, you know what? The guns are bad. We're going to go in. We're going to surprise these people, and we are going to take their guns. And we're going to arrest the leader, David Koresh. So they go to, they set out a stakeout across the street. And the people are like, we're going to just like bring some coffee cake over and like try to be friends and like go to some of the Bible study. So they do this for like a month and they're like, we're college students down the street. But all the like agents are like 30 and they're like, you guys are fucking college students. Like, we love Jesus, but we're not fucking, we have eyes.
Dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, we have eyes. So the Branch Davidians, that's the David Koresh's group, they know something's up. The day of this like huge, so it's the ATF, the tobacco, firearms tobacco people. They're a government agency.
Okay.
Just, that's all you need to know. I can't remember what the A is for, but anyways, something tobacco and firearms. Okay. Oh, alcohol, tobacco and firearms.
Got it.
So they're like, we're coming in these big trucks. They drive up and they're like, we're lost. And they stop and they ask the local mailman, who just so happens to be, oh no, wait, sorry, I take it back. I lied. Oh. The media gets tipped off, and they're going to Mount Carmel, and they're like, we're lost. And they stop the mailman, and the mailman's like, they're like, do you know where Mount Carmel is? The mailman's like, yeah, it's that way. Why? And they're like, oh, we got tipped off that like something's about to happen there. And the mailman's like, fuck this, and like drives back and is like, they're coming, they're coming. The Branch Davidians lock down, guns out the window. There's a huge shootout. Huge. It like kills like 9 ATF agents, kills a bunch of Branch Davidians, and then we have a hostage situation. Nobody in, nobody out. It goes on for like 70 days.
Stop it. 70 days.
It's hell of long. It might even be longer. I wish I had the exact dates written down. I should have written down all my facts. It goes on for a long time. Okay? Like over a month. Some of the kids get out, some of the adults get out, whatever. It is so embarrassing for the U.S. government because a few years before there was an event called Ruby Ridge, which was also related to the FBI and the ATF. There's a situation, also people who are like, hands off our guns, don't tread on me. A woman is killed, a kid is killed, very bad. So this is already in response to Ruby Ridge. There's all these calls of like the government's doing it again. They're going into this religious community. They're shooting them up. Whatever. So embarrassing. Clinton has just become president. Janet Reno is our Secretary of State. It is a clusterfuck. David Koresh is like, I want to go on the radio and talk about my religion, and then I'll let people out. Never mind. I want to publish these books. And then I'll let people out. It goes on. It goes on. It goes on. Finally, the government's like, we're going in. They shoot tear gas into this like shoddily built place that has like hay in the walls. There's a lot of speculation about what happened. Did the Branch Davidians light the place on fire? Was there a firefight? Did something spark because of the gas or whatever? Yeah. The whole building burns down. Like 70 people die, including children. It is a nightmare. And it all happens on television in 1993, April 1993. During the time of the standoff, the reason this is such an important event is also because during the time of the standoff, Timothy McVeigh, who you might know as the Oklahoma City bomber, he goes to Waco because it becomes a pilgrimage place for people who believe that the government is overstepping. He sells stickers and T-shirts out of his car because he's a disaffected war veteran from like the Gulf War. He is radicalized over Ruby Ridge and these events, and 2 years later, almost to the day, is when he does the Oklahoma City bombing. Or actually to the day, I believe, April 19th, April 20th. I cannot remember if it's one. I think it might have gotten fucked up by one day. Fast forward to Columbine. Those kids picked that day because of the Oklahoma City bombing and Waco. It's common misconception that it was because of Hitler's birthday, and that also might have been part of it, but it was tied deeply to these huge events of mass death in America. So Waco is another one that I am like, I cannot, because it's so important. It's like still a touchstone for people who are extremely right wing and right leaning about like, and like libertarian especially, about like the overreach of the government and this like persecution of citizens in their own land, persecution of Christians, persecution of gun rights people. Like it's this whole psyche of a kind of American.
I would listen to you explain cults to me all fucking day. This should be your only full-time job. This is what I want.
I would love it. I could do it every day. They're fascinating. These are like the big ones, right? Like this Manson, huge one. But I think the least interesting. I find the Manson one. Yeah. I like it. I've read a lot of books about it. So like, let me not pretend like I don't know everything about it also. But it's lacking in something for me to just make my like eyes roll back in my head and like make me faint.
I get that one. I don't know much about most cults, I have to say. Just very high level stuff, and it just doesn't seem like there's much to the Manson family one. Yeah, I'm like, y'all were just doing shit. And for what? And
like maybe drugs.
Yeah,
and like
right.
Maybe you guys were just like people who wanted to see what would happen if you killed people. Like they don't have a clear ideology in the way that some of the other ones did.
Right.
And then, I mean, another cult that I'm like fascinated by is Scientology, and that gets tricky. And then also like Mormonism is a fine line for me.
Yes.
Because these are like accepted religions, but they're really new religions, and they have weird stories and like. Yeah. And I guess like I do think like any religion, if it started today, like even Christianity, I'd be like, did he really turn the loaves like into like, are there like he actually fed these people, or like did they feel fed?
Right. It's like,
yeah. I'm like, so the ark was so big it fed every animal to of them,
right?
Like, and it floated, and they just built like, and just Noah and his wife just like built that with some kids, like. You know, so like I'm skeptical of religion, period. Yeah. And like, so, but like Mormonism and Scientology are definitely two that I'm a little, and I know lots of people are actually Mormon, so I don't want to like make you feel too bad about it. I hear that. But the origin story, there's questions.
No. Okay. So I haven't dug too deeply into Mormonism or Scientology, to be honest, but it feels like there's a divide between those two, and that a lot of people read Scientology as something that is fronting as a religion, but has something more sinister or strange going on behind the scenes. And at least from my understanding, fewer people read Mormonism with that same lens
anymore.
And it just seems to be something that folks don't quite understand, and so they leave it. They're like, okay, I don't really know what they're doing, but sure. But I've heard, and again, I'm pleased, correct me, Tracy. I can't wait to actually learn what the hell is going on. Oh my God, this is so fun. I've heard that like Mormonism was started with some type of white supremacist ideology behind it, and the FBI has something to do with it, and my Mormon knowledge is I have not brushed up on it, so I don't think I can do a very good job of it. But there was definitely some white flight elements to it, and some like interesting power grab elements to it, and like the multiple wives part of it was a huge part of the religion and why they went west towards Salt Lake City at the time. A lot of that stuff has changed, but like it wasn't until the 70s that Black people could even be in the Church of Latter-day Saints. You know, so like there's definitely some stuff. Like they were holding on to the whiteness even after Rosa Parks sat on that bus. Yeah. Okay. Like it wasn't like, oh, in the 20s we changed. It was like the 70s. I don't even like I want to say late 70s. Right.
So that's part of the religion, whether or not it's part of the actual like text of the religion, it's part of the culture of the religion. Scientology, I think, has some extra sinister feelings about it because L. Ron Hubbard, who founded the religion, like it was him, and then the next leader is the current leader. So it really wasn't that long ago.
Got it.
David Miscavige, who people might know because his wife, Shelley Miscavige, has been missing for a long time. We haven't seen her. And like you can sign a 1,000-year contract to the church. And like there's a lot of stuff with Scientology that is sinister. Yeah. Like so you go and work for them, and they have like this thing called the Sea Org that is like a boat that you Scientology on. And
a boat that you Scientology on.
It's really like a religious MLM. You pay for the course.
That's what it seems like.
And then once you like get to that level by being good and doing what they tell you, you can pay for the next course.
And you can pay for the next course. Yes. LOL.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
Like it's like one of those things where there's like been a lot of great documentaries. One of my favorite books about Scientology is this book called Going Clear by Lawrence Wright.
Going Clear, the documentary. Yeah.
The documentary is based on the book. And the book just goes into like insane detail. But that's like, that one feels way more culty, but I don't know, like in 100 years or 200 years, if it still will, or if it will have like mainstreamed. But there's some fucked up finances going on in Scientology, and like, so I think it is more sinister than Mormonism, but Mormonism has an interesting start. And they also have some, you know, I mean, all the religions have weird beliefs.
They
like,
do.
If you're religious, I'm sorry, but you're believing that you get a planet when you die, or maybe you're believing that you go to heaven when you die. Like, I don't know what's heaven, something that we've created. If you want a great book on Mormonism, John Krakauer's book, Under the Banner of Heaven. It's one of my all-time favorite books. It's fantastic. And it's about fundamentalist Mormons, and those are the people who like where you see them where they're like wearing the bonnet and they have the 10 wives and like that whole thing. So that's separate.
Okay.
FLDS is like the fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints, and then LDS is like your everyday Mormon, drinks from a Stanley cup, loves a soda cream or whatever. Is big on TikTok.
Right. Yeah. Yes, that is definitely having many
children on TikTok.
Oh, okay. And maybe this is why Stanley cups also had their strange culty.
So that started with the Mormons, because the Mormon girlies who were like influencing, they would get their giant sodas and I think they call them egg creams. They're like ice cream soda things with like flavor syrup. But because Mormons don't drink caffeine and they don't drink alcohol, that's like the egg cream. And they would drink them in these cups, and the Mormon girlies made them like a thing. So anytime I see anyone who has blonde hair and has a Stanley cup, I'm literally like, are you Mormon?
Are you Mormon? Wow. Oh my God. This is so interesting. Traci. Also, side note, do you have a like somewhere on your social media, like a pinned comment that says all of your favorite books, all of your all-time favorite books? Because I'm just interested.
I don't have a thing that says all my all-time favorite books ever, but I'm always posting lists of like favorite books about this or I try to keep it fresh. So yes, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll find my favorite books. And I'm also always giving book recommendations.
Yeah.
You know, like if something happens in the news, you know, I'll be like, these are like, a few years ago there was like a bunch of mass shootings like all back to back, and I did a whole reel of like, if you want to understand mass shootings better, like here's 20 books, unfortunately for us, that we live through this horrific reality.
Yeah.
How about the cult of guns? That's one.
Oh God, that is a cult.
The cult of the NRA.
The First Amendment, or not the First, the Second Amendment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. Do you have any documentaries, any cult documentaries that are your faves?
Okay. So one of the reasons I'm convinced that I'm obsessed with cults is because I'm pretty sure my dad was obsessed with cults. And I remember being younger and like watching PBS documentaries like for anniversary years of Jonestown when I was in like middle school.
Oh my God, this sounds great. I'm so
some of the ones that I know that like introduced me are ones that I don't know if I could ever find them again, but that's like when we used to watch TV just regular, and you'd like turn on PBS and it'd be like a documentary.
Yep.
So I watched the LuLaRoe one about the leggings. So good. Yeah. That's like, if you just want to have fun with the cult and just like laugh at people for losing all their money, that's a fun one. Like no murder to my knowledge. I just watched this new one called Dancing for the Devil.
Oh, is that the cheerleading one?
No. Oh. It's the TikTok dancers who also are part of a church, or Instagram dancers. And like, you've probably seen their videos. They're like all those kids who are like dance to like throwback oldie songs. Yeah. And they like wear like little skirts and like high heels. And they're like, like that. You can't see me, but they're like doing their shoulders a lot and like flicking their hair back. And it's called Dancing for the Devil. It's on Netflix, and it's about like this girl who was a dancer, and like her and her sister used to have like a big Instagram following. It's like the such and such sisters, and then one of the sisters like started dating this guy, and then they all started like going to this church, and then the church became their management group also, and then the family like lost touch with the girl and was like pleading for them on social media. It's 3 parts. The first 2 parts are really good. The third part, it jumps for me. So you could just watch part 1 and 2 and feel great about it.
Okay.
So that's one I love. I've watched so many Jonestown and WACO things that I don't even know the names of them, but I've probably watched everything you could find on streaming about those.
I'm going to do that. You have literally awakened a cult burn that did
a lot of the Jonestown ones, though, are pretty sensational, and they don't really like show the humanity of the people.
Okay.
But so that's just like I think that's true for probably all the cults, but that one in particular.
Okay.
I'm trying to think what else. I know I'm forgetting some. I didn't do the NXIVM one.
Okay.
That's the one I've never done. I know people are really into that. For some reason, I didn't quite get there.
Yeah, NXIVM is always... NXIVM feels too current or something. Like, it feels like it's like still going on. Like there's still NXIVM stuff that pops up on my Instagram sometimes. You know, someone I know will have fallen into some NXIVM stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is getting weird.
Oh, did you watch the one about the yoga one?
No.
So there's like the Bikram yoga one. Maybe that's a podcast. And then also there's the like, God, I'm not gonna be able to think of the name of it, but they all wore red and he was like a leader, and let me Google it. Okay. Hold on. Cult wears red. The Rajneesh movement. And the documentary is called Wild Wild Country.
Okay.
And no, that one is pretty weird, crazy. And what's interesting about that one is like everyone who was in the cult like went to Harvard or like is a lawyer. It's like really like fancy people where you're like anyone could be in a cult.
Oh, that's scary. Yeah, no, it's terrifying. That's
like
terrifying.
It's just like, oh, no one's safe.
No.
And then obviously Going Clear is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think what else. Those are the ones that are popping to my head.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. And before you mentioned a little bit, but do you have an idea of what causes people to end up in a cult? You said like, oh, you really believe in these ideologies and this person inspires you.
So I feel like I feel like different people go for different reasons. I think like one of the biggest reasons is community.
Yes.
I think that's why there's so many cults like in California. It's like it can be an isolating place, I think, for people.
Yeah.
I'm a Californian. You're born in California too.
Yeah, I'm from
So I don't
Beach.
feel like that about California. I love it here.
Yeah.
But I think that's part like a sense of belonging. I think what cults do really well is they isolate people from the rest of their life. So whether that's like through language, like in the dancing one, the guy talks about dying yourself from the rest of your family to save them in the reckoning. So you basically have to disassociate from all of your friends and family so that when you die, you'll all get to have salvation. Like things like that, where it's like, it's us. We are the ones who have the information and we are together in our community, but that community is isolated from everyone else. You give us your social security checks. You spend all your money on these ugly leggings. You live with us at Spawn Ranch if you're a Manson girl. Like, it's like you get community, but it's the only community you get. And I think that isolation part is really important. I think also people usually end up joining cults because they believe in whatever the thing is, whether it's an MLM and it's like, I believe I'm going to get rich and I can pick my own hours and still take my kids to school and I can have my own business and I just have to pay $5,000. And like, who doesn't want all of those things, right?
Yes.
Or if it's like Jonestown and it's like, I believe in racial equality in the 1960s and 70s, like, that there's a version of the thing that's being sold that is actually something that a lot of people might want. Yeah. And then it just ends up being like, are you actually able to isolate yourself from your family, or do you have strong enough ties that your family's like, no, fuck you, Sequoia. You are not giving your social security check to that man. Yep. Like, you can go to the church, but if you need a place to live, you come live with me, right? Like, so I think those are the big things, like the isolation in the community, and then something to believe in. And then I think like the best cults have a charismatic leader who's also terrifying.
Yeah, very much that. Very Donald Trump.
Very Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. Very. I mean, he's a textbook cult leader. Mm-hmm. The rhetoric he uses. There's a great book called Cultish that's all about the language of cults. And it talks about like the different linguistic techniques that cults have in common. It's really interesting. If you listen to audiobooks, I highly recommend it. And the woman who wrote that book, Amanda Montell, she has a podcast called Sounds Like a Cult. And she talks about how like podcast. Everything is a cult. Yeah, like every episode is like it, but like I
need to. Every time I look through it, I'm like, this is genius. Like this is a genius podcast concept.
It's genius.
So into
and
it.
She's really smart. The book is really smart, and I highly recommend it. Just like because it does lay out different like the ways that they talk about things, or like us versus them is like such a common cult tactic.
Oh my God. I feel like I'm learning so much. Like you were doing so much for my little like thirst for knowledge ass brain. I didn't even know that I had this interest, and this is my new hyperfixation right now. Thank you so much for this, Traci. I appreciate it. The only thing else I have on here, and then please you feel free to like let me know anything else you want to talk about, the Duggar family.
Oh, I did watch that documentary.
I didn't watch that one, but my producer brought it up. Thank you, Palmyra. That their ties with the IBLP Institute in Basic Life Principles cult.
Yes, it's some sort of, again, Christian. Mom stays at home, kids don't talk, follow all the rules, serve the father, like that kind of like antiquated Christian sect. It's giving, again, right wing stuff, and the Duggars are part of that, and they end up becoming the like face of this like religious cult. That documentary is very good. I watched it. Some of the Duggars are like have come out. There was sexual abuse within the family. One of the brothers was molesting like two of the sisters, which is so twisted. And like the parents knew, and the whole, the way that any sexual abuser is allowed to continue is that people know and they turn the other cheek, or they give them a second chance or whatever, whether you're in a cult or not.
Yep.
It's that same like textbook story of we don't care about victims. And yeah, it was like really hard, like really harsh, trad wife. Oh, how about the cult of trad wife?
I was going to bring them up. I forgot to bring them up. Yes, the trad wife cult.
Yes. They're like the extreme trad wife community. The trad wife thing is, sorry to you. I wish you could imagine better for yourself, ladies.
Oh,
like homemade cereal. How dare you?
I know. What's so funny?
When Fruit Loops are right there.
Literally, you can go to the store and grab some Fruit Loops if you want them. Yeah. The Frosted Flakes are right there. What's so funny about the trad wife thing, though, and a TikTok laid this out so well. I had the thought before I watched the TikTok, but this one TikTok laid this out so well. It's not real. You're making content about being a trad wife. You are an employed woman. Yeah, you have a job. Are not. You have a job. This is your job.
This is your job.
Your job is to do this foolishness every day and make people think that it's a lifestyle to aspire toward. You don't even have this lifestyle. What are we talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's such a good point. Yeah, that's one that I just can't get behind.
Yeah,
I'm just it is repulsive to me.
Very,
like, I'm
very
just like, ew.
Strange. Very, very strange.
And vaccinate your kids. God damn it. Stop with this bullshit. I'm tired of that whole thing too. The cult of the unvaccinated. Get a grip.
Oh, that one feels especially culty for me for some reason. Like that one feels like the most glaring. Like,
yes, so dangerous.
This is sinister. This is like this is. Come on, guys. I don't know.
Yes,
I don't know.
Yes.
But again, I don't know, the way that the wellness community is set up. I totally see how you could get there actually with like how much information we're being fed about. This is so bad for us. What we never knew before, we do know now, and how science is advancing and yada, yada, we're now learning. I see how people could get to, I'm not putting that in my body.
Yes. I do see how people could get there, but I guess my politics are such that I believe that to live in a society with other people, we have to take care of ourselves and other people. I'm in that cult. I'm in the cult of I want to have community.
And I do.
And I'd like to survive.
I love community.
But, I do understand it. I mean, I think like social media wellness is its own cult.
It is. Yep.
Like I'm just like, okay, like I'm going to drink cow's milk. Okay.
You're alone in that, Tracy.
I know. I'm like, I always joke that I should be employed by the dairy lobby because I'm like the one person who in their 30s and I'm Black and Jewish. And I can drink dairy. Like I can drink a glass of milk.
How are you doing it?
I don't know.
How's your body digesting it? Is my actual question.
I have no problem with dairy.
Wow.
I have dairy. It's dairy and Diet Coke over here.
Wow, one of the chosen few. Maybe they're counterbalancing. Maybe there's something in the Diet Coke that gives you an enzyme that allows you
maybe
to
the chemicals that has its own like lactase in it or something.
Exactly. Maybe that's what's happening. Tracy, thank you so much. This has been fantastic. Do you have anything else you want to tell folks before we sign off?
No, you can listen to my podcast. It's called The Stacks. It's about books. You can get it wherever you get your podcasts. And you can follow me on Instagram at The Stacks Pod. And I talk about books. I also often am drinking a Diet Coke because I'm part of that cult. I hope I've convinced you to join. Yeah. But yeah, come hang out with me if you like books. I swear books are fun. I swear we have a good time.
Books are fun. Absolutely.
Books are amazing.
Yeah.
But like sometimes people hear like book podcasts and like, I don't read. I'm not smart enough. Like, no, you are smart enough.
Books
I
are
promise.
Fun. Yeah.
I'm just dicking around. It's just books are my chosen medium. But like, I promise you won't feel bad if you hang out with me and talk books. I promise.
And like you have a little bit of community. You join a book club.
Yes, we have a book club.
Yeah, like it's fun.
Yeah, I swear we have a great time. That's the thing. Sometimes people say that they're in my cult, and I'm like, I take that seriously.
No, Tracy, right. Yeah. what are we talking about at the top of the show?
Yeah, like they have a hashtag that's like influenced by Tracy, and I'm like, they're like, put it on a shirt. I'm like, I can't. I won't.
I can't. I'm terrified. Right.
I'm sorry. I'm scared of my own power. I don't know it, but because if you guys really follow me, we could have problems soon. Because I could go that kind of power. Did you know? I've read up too much about how you could go. I could take us deep. We will be on a compound somewhere, and it will not be good.
And I might follow you there. I don't know, the way that I've been in just enchanted.
I could convince people if you join my group of readers, you'll be able to drink milk again.
Oh, that's not a good.
You'll
call,
be able to
Tracy.
have ice cream, as much ice cream as you
okay,
want.
now we're talking.
Cheese boards.
Now we're talking. Okay.
Dairy. We have so many cows in my community.
We're going to work on the verbiage a little bit, but we're getting there.
Fresh dairy.
We're going to work on the verbiage.
Fresh cream in your coffee and tea every morning.
Ice cream's the strongest draw there for sure.
Homemade ice cream by all the children in the community.
Not by all the children. I don't want it anymore. I'm done. For those of you who want to check us out on YouTube, you can go to youtube.com/@BlackPeopleLoveParamore. The link will be in the show notes. If you have a comment or suggestion, you can message me at blackpeopleloveparamore@gmail.com or across all social media platforms at BPLP Pod. Bye, y'all.